Yay Media Group.
Healing is realizing it wasn't your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Exactly. Como dice ese dicho.
Clip that. Clip that.
Clip that. Tattoo it on your butt. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Spill the Beans podcast.
We're the girls.
Today, we are getting naked.
Dun, dun, dun. But not in the way you think. We're getting emotionally undressed.
That part. And we are naked under these ropes, just in case you were trying to picture us.
Hopefully, we get a little nip slip action.
We're totally playing, guys.
Just kidding. No, we're not naked under here. Today, we're going to be getting really dirty. Not dirty. What? Deep. I was thinking
it can get a little dirty.
It can get dirty. Maybe like tears will be shed.
Yeah. It's like the saying, was it? Nasty with the Poochie outfit. Like that, like dirty kind of. You know how you feel after you trauma dump and you're like, shit, should I have said that? That's the dirty.
Exactly. But obviously not without some little liquid emotional support.
Yes.
So let's pour up.
Pour us up 2 wine glasses of our most favorite wine in the world.
Yeah. I don't know much. Let me pour first.
I will say, Noemi put us on. I think you're the one that found this wine, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know much about anything, but but I do know a little bit about the wine that I like. I always opt for a white wine, always. And it has to be Moscato. And it doesn't have to be expensive, but it does have to, the bottle representation is definitely important.
Mm-hmm. You will judge a book by its cover.
Wait, I don't think, yeah, I will. And one thing about me, I'm going to judge. This, I don't think you've tried this one, but I know you're going to like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. For the first time, I tried a Moscato that was bitter. It was still not bad, but it was more bitter than the ones we've had before. I was like, wait, what?
Where?
At El 5 for our anniversary dinner. I was like, wait a minute. This tastes a little not the vibes.
And you didn't like it?
It was just bitter. Like, I wouldn't say it was bad. I felt more mature drinking it.
You didn't chug it?
No, I didn't chug it. I did sip it, and they gave you like a whole bottle. It was probably a bottle this big of it, and I finished it.
By yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What a queen.
You know, just anniversary things.
Should we cheers?
Yes, we shall.
Cheers to our childhood.
Trauma.
And cheers to Spill the Bean podcast.
And
for
cheers
the girls.
to the girls. By the girls, we mean all of us. You guys take a sip of whatever you're drinking.
I want to see your reaction. That's why I'm waiting. See if you like it or not.
Bomb.
Yeah? I haven't even tried it.
1,000%. Wow, that is really good.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
obsessed.
kind of good at picking wines.
Yeah, every single time that you've brought a wine, it's always been delicious.
I think I'm gonna actually like drink a lot because
we
really, you guys, this episode
is gonna be heavy.
It's heavy.
You know what? Well, when Noemi and I were planning the episode, we were literally in tears.
No, that's why I'm like, this better be funny, not sad. This better alter my mind to think like, oh yeah, that was funny, not sad.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely gonna feel a little therapeutic for us. You know, kind of.
We absolutely need that.
Yeah, trauma dumping. We did have a retail therapy session earlier this week, or last week, I mean, and it was really good. So
we have several different types of therapy for you and me, and I think that's important.
And I think that's beautiful.
Okay, now I'm already feeling a little funny.
God. Did you buy 2 of these, by the way?
No.
Okay, good, because I was gonna get a little crunk, but no pasa nada. Let's get into our episode.
Yeah.
Before we get too tipsy.
Yeah. Should we talk about why we're not wearing makeup?
Yeah, let's go ahead and start.
It's because we're gonna cry.
First of all, we will be sobbing in this episode, and I think that's something that happened this weekend. Aside from what we had written down, what I was gonna say is that Noemi and I realized that we're literally each other's safe space. And I know it starts crying. And we did talk, we're going to talk about this more, but we just noticed that our moms didn't have like a mom best friend. And I'm like, they didn't have girls dates, didn't have girls days, girls trip. So today, if you are a mom out there listening to this episode, we want you to feel safe with us.
Yes.
And that's why we're undressed, no makeup, shades, of course, in case we start sobbing. A cute little earrings, wine, and this is just gonna be a like girl venting session, basically.
Yeah. So get naked and put your shades on. You can put a robe on if you want to.
Please.
We had to put a robe on because YouTube does not allow us to be naked.
We were gonna be naked, but that was for OnlyFans. Just kidding.
So subscribe to our OnlyFans. Just kidding. No, yeah, this episode is gonna be super vulnerable for us, which is why our attire is this way. Also because the clips are gonna look really good and aesthetic.
Like we don't want to have that ugly crying face.
Yeah.
We're gonna look like chic.
Yes, exactly. No Botox face over here.
Exactly. But yeah,
let's get started. All right, I'm scared. Okay,
I know, I'm nervous.
Do you feel like your mom had anybody, like, do you remember your mom having, aside from like your tias, a close friend growing up?
Not at all. She had a friend for a short period of time, which was one of my friend's moms, but she ended up moving to Mexico, and that is such a sad story. I don't even know if I should talk about it because I probably will cry. Aww. But it wasn't like, let's go out for coffee. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, oh, leave the kids with the husbands, we're gonna go get dinner tonight. Nothing. Like, my mom has never, I can say that with my chest, has never had girl time like that. One-on-one girl time where she's just out and about doing things with her best friend, ever.
That is so sad, huh?
Isn't that devastating?
I also feel like that's the reality for so many moms, so many of our moms, but also I feel like even people like viewing right now, this is why we want to do this, because I know maybe physically you can't have an outlet, but like on the internet you can have an outlet to talk to us.
Yeah, and I know my mom only had one sister here, and still to this day only does. But your mom has a few sisters here, right?
Yeah, my mom has 2 sisters, and I feel like that is a saving grace. That also could probably contribute as to why she doesn't have as many like mom friends. And because growing up, it was like, okay, my mom has 2 sisters and they each have kids, and we all grew up like siblings. So I think that was a big factor, but it's not the same because it's not the same outlet as like when you have a friend, you know. Like, to me, obviously I love and I cherish my sister time, and whenever she has kids, if ever she has kids, it's going to be different, but it's never going to be the same relationship as like you and I have.
Exactly.
And I think that's beautiful.
And I think that is very beautiful. Yeah. And I do believe that we love hanging out with our sisters even when we're together, but it's still not the same.
It's not the
as
same.
Us just venting in the car about like our kids or husbands or work, whatever it is.
Yeah, because it's not as relatable as, you know. And then I feel like with a sister, like, you know, sometimes we be talking a little shit, and sometimes with your sister, like, you don't want to say anything bad about, like, I don't know, your husband or someone that they love too.
Exactly.
And with each other, like, we can say anything, and it's everything, just anything goes, you know? I don't know. Nobody takes it to heart. Nobody like takes it too serious. It's just banter.
Exactly.
Yeah. Same. My mom, growing up, we grew up with them going to church, and so if they had friends, it was like church friends, but it was never really like that. Like, if we were hanging out, it was like we would go over for dinner and like all the kids would hang out. It wasn't like my mom would go out for coffee, como dices tú, with her friend. It wasn't like vamos a dejar los niños con los papás, which unheard of. And my dad, he would sit and watch us. It wasn't even that, because I know there's a lot of like machista dads that are like, las mujeres las mamás con los niños y los viejos afuera.
Exactly.
You know? And it wasn't even like that. It's just, I don't think my parents really, how do I say it? Maybe not believed or didn't know it was possible that they could do things separately. And to this day, I feel like my mom has a lot of trouble doing anything by herself. Like, to me, my alone time, I'm like, yes, let me run to Target by myself. Let me run this errand by myself. And my mom has a really hard time doing something like that. Like, just running to the store by herself. She'd be like, no quieren ir conmigo. And I'm like, Mommy, you could go by yourself. Like, you don't feel like being alone. I think maybe like they're like scared of being alone.
Yeah, well, I also believe that because they married so young, it's the codependency of being like, this has been my safe person for years and years and years, and I don't want to do anything without them, much less without anybody. You know, like, well, my mom doesn't drive, but truly think if my mom drove, she'd be outside, girl.
Yeah?
Yeah, because when we were young, my dad was so amargado, like, no quería salir, no quería nada. Él quería llegar de trabajar, and like weekends he wanted to rot at the house and just like do nothing. And so my mom was outside, baby. She would get me ready. We would go on the bus to the mall to get our nails done, whatever it was.
I love that.
Yeah, so my mom and I were mobbing in the bus, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, that's crazy. We're so opposite because my dad would get home, take a shower, and we'd every single day go do something, whether it was, especially if it was like summertime, whether it was to the park, to go get ice cream, to go por una hamburguesa,
It's beautiful.
anything, honestly, even to go for a walk, a bike ride, anything. My dad, gracias a Dios, he's always been super, super active in that way. And it's so funny. I think we're going to start crying. This is the part that we're going to start crying.
Like, wait, I'm already tearing up thinking about my mom.
I know. Okay, so when I was pregnant, I know I like felt super healed or whatever. Not healed, but I just felt like I was ready, and I knew exactly what I wanted to and didn't want to do with my kid. Like I just felt like I was ready and prepared as much as you can be. So I remember I asked my parents, like, what is one thing that you regret not doing with your kids? And the way that I am very closed off emotionally. I feel like I wouldn't say emotionally unavailable. The wine is getting to me. I wouldn't say I'm emotionally unavailable, but I definitely am like hard, like to get to spill my feelings, I would say. And my dad is the opposite. My dad cries for everything. My dad is like Luis. My dad is literally like everything makes him tear up. So anyway, back to the story. I was like, papá, ¿qué fue algo que tú, ¿cómo le dije? Like, I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. I don't remember exactly what I asked him, but basically it was, what is something you regret not doing with us, or something you wish you would have done more of? And I was just, preparing for myself, like for my kid. And he literally starts tearing up and he goes, I wish I would have played with you guys more. And I'm like, I just got chills. Mm-hmm. Like he started crying and he says, es que yo hubiera querido jugar con ustedes más y estar afuera con ustedes más. And I remember in my childhood, like I don't remember my dad being too tired. I always remember him literally coming home from work tired, but I never remember him going and rotting on the couch or anything. Maybe 1 or 2 times, like, because he was so exhausted, but I always remember we would always play with him after work. And I'm like, that's crazy that he thinks he didn't do that enough, because that's what I remember.
Starts up.
No, literally.
Yeah, I think that becoming parents definitely changed us forever. Mm-hmm. Like I remember Franco coming out of my vagina and me being like, holy shit, my mom is the best person I know.
Yeah.
And it was quite literally life-changing, is having a kid. And I just remember, I think that there's so much that goes into learning the way that we grew up. Mm-hmm. Because I was just telling this to Noemi when we were planning the episode. I told her, growing up, you don't think like, oh my God, like my life is so different, or I'm so sad, this and that. You grow up and you're like, this is normal, like whatever. You're just living life, right, as a kid. Mm-hmm. And you don't realize until you're literally an adult with a baby and you're like, wait, why was my childhood like this? And there's so many things that you need to heal. And I think that it undresses you in that way, where you're raising this perfect child and you're like, oh my God, like, why didn't my dad do this? Or why couldn't my mom do that, or show up for me? And these are different ways. And I think that that's what motherhood did to us.
Yeah.
Is show us all the ugly.
Yeah. It opened up a lot, negatively and positively, I would say, because yes, like, como dices tú, I thought my mom was like a warrior, angel, badass, like, and I still do think all of these things. But as my daughter grows up and as I raise her, I also think like, wait, but if I could do this, you could have done this too. And that I hate that so much, because nobody likes to think badly about their parents. Nobody likes to think negatively or anything. But I'm like, there is things, you could have healed, homegirl. And
yeah, I think that there's a misconception around trauma, because I do believe our parents obviously grew up way worse than us, right? Yeah. Like their childhood trauma is actually crazy. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that as a grown adult, you can learn from it and change it.
Yeah.
And this is what I meant. I think did I say it last time? I don't remember.
Say it again.
I think I said this in therapy probably, but I truly think that unlearning your trauma and breaking generational curses and being a present more towards a gentle parent is hard. It is possibly the hardest thing you can do, because when you're running out of patience, where do you get it from? You gotta make it, pull it out of your ass.
But you know why it's so hard? Because it's not only about you, it's about your kid. So like the hard part for me, for example, I think actually the first podcast I went on with you guys, I talked about this. I talked about how I didn't want any kids because I felt like I wasn't quote unquote healed. And I don't know, whenever healing is not linear. Like healing is so many steps and curves and this and that. So there's so much to healing. And I was talking about how I felt like I wasn't ready because I needed to heal. But I'm like, the fact that I, like, now thinking back at it, the fact that I even was thinking that was me being so conscious and already being a good mom. Like,
exactly.
Because I just wanted the best for the child that I didn't have at that moment.
Exactly.
And the hardest part is that, like, molding yourself and changing yourself and being aware, like, this isn't right. You can't do the same things. And it is hard, but you can do it. Like, it is, it's necessary. Like,
exactly. It's your responsibility as a parent.
Exactly.
To do the hard work, because I know that there's, like, growing up, I truly believe that my dad wasn't abusive in any way, but he just wasn't present.
Yeah.
You know, like, I always said, like, he was a retrato, like an adorno at the house. Like, he was just there. He was never like dad. Like, he was in my safe space. He wasn't like nothing, literally did not show up for us.
Like a roommate.
Exactly. There was no emotional connection. There was nothing, right? And I, like, think about it so deeply, because if I don't feel a connection with my child, I am actively working to connect with this child. Like, oh, it feels kind of awkward to, like, hug my child, and, like, you know, this is what I'm thinking, like, my dad should have thought. It's like, it feels so awkward to, like, connect with her. It feels so awkward to spend time with her. It feels so awkward to play Barbies with her, but I'm gonna do it because I need her to know that I love her. And I think that's something my dad never did. And I don't know if he would ever admit it. I do, like, my dad is obviously very traumatized. He grew up obviously worse than us, and he had a terrible example of a parent and of a marriage. But it's like I'm saying, like, that is not an excuse.
Yeah.
It's all right, you know that wasn't good, so now change it. And that's the part that he didn't do, right? He didn't take the step to change it.
Yeah.
And for my mom, I can't say the same, because my mom had a very great example of parents and of a marriage. So my mom, plus ni se diga, like, my mom has been my saving grace for sure. But it's just crazy to have kids and be like, I would never do what you did to me, to my kids, you know?
Yeah. I think it's so important to think about that too, because obviously, like, I don't want to sit here y echarle, because I did have to learn that too, because a lot of the times I was thinking, like, why didn't my parents do this? Why did they treat me like this? Why did they do this? And I'm like, yes, I would think about how they were treated, but also I did think about, okay, like, that doesn't mean you have to do it too. But then there comes the baggage of the generations and things that you have to unlearn. For example, one time I was in Mexico, and I was where my mom is from, and we were sitting there at one of her tia's house, so my grandma's sister's house, and she was there with her cousins and everything, and we were sitting there y estábamos platicando, and I'm an observant person. I've talked about this before. I'm very observant. I don't like to say judgy. I like to say observant. No, but I do. I'm always very aware of everything. And so I was watching one of my mom's cousins, and she, at that time, her daughter was, I want to say, like, 6 years old. She was very, very young. Her little daughter was 6 years old. And I just remember we were all sitting at the table, and the daughter goes up to my mom's cousin, and she was like, mama. And la señora, well, I guess she's my tia. My tia, she wasn't saying anything back to her, like, completely ignoring her. And it wasn't like she was talking to somebody. She was just completely ignoring her, but she was listening to the conversation. And the little girl said, mama, like 10 fucking times, until the last time she's like, literally, ¿qué quieres? And I'm like, oh my God. And I just brought back, like, oh, like, it gave me kind of chills, because I'm like, it's the overstimulation. I understand, like, I can understand, and I know where she's coming from, but her reaction was not okay. It is not that little girl's fault that she is overstimulated. It is not that, like, she would have just turned around and said, mande. Like, why does she have to yell at her? And that's, I'm gonna expose my family lineage right now. It's really hard for, like, my entire mom's side of the family son bien gritones. And I know like Mexicans son bien gritones, but I'm like, no, like everything son gritos. And it's like, I know like speaking loudly is one thing, but like something like that, I'm like, that's
like exploding on someone.
Exploding. And so then once I saw that, obviously like we're not kids anymore, so my mom hadn't yelled at me in a long time, but it like brought me back to childhood, like how my mom was always overstimulated, and she didn't know, she didn't have the tools, and she couldn't find it in her to control her explosions, basically.
Exactly.
And that to me, even still, I try so hard because I know, and every time I'm like wanting to yell at Penny, and every time like I feel like I'm about to explode, I literally think about that. And I've said this before on another podcast. Another thing I think about is if there was a camera on me at 24/7 and I watched back, like what would I think about it?
Exactly. And I love that. You told me that one time too. And I'm like, that is absolutely true, because I think that there's a lot of things people hide, right? Like they can pretend that they're this perfect parent and like, oh no, but then at home they're these fucking explosive parents.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that we really need to break and focus on, because I think it hurts the kid most of all. Like you putting up a front in front of like your cousins or your grandparents, whatever, wherever you are. And then at home, you're like this completely different person. It just, for them, it's like, it literally puts their nervous system in overdrive, because they're like, I don't know how mom's going to react today, because when my grandpa's here, she's really nice. And when we're at home, she literally lashes out at me, you know? This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. March is when women celebrate International Women's Day, a moment to celebrate women's strength and progress,
while also recognizing how much they carry every single day.
Between caring for others and managing unseen responsibilities, their emotional well-being can be easily overlooked.
We want to remind women how much they matter, and that therapy offers a space for them to take care of themselves in a way they deserve. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the US.
BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals.
A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences. And their 12 plus years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they typically get it right the first time.
If you aren't happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time from their tailored recs.
With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is one of the world's largest online therapy platforms, having served over 6 million people globally. And it works, with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews.
Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy.
Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/spillthebeans.
That's betterhelp.com/spillthebeans.
Yeah, and I also want to say, I'm saying this with my whole chest now, but I only have one daughter. I know the more kids you add, it's 100 times more difficult, and because I can already feel people saying, well, you only have one daughter. I have 4 kids. Yeah, it is harder. Absolutely. Like you are right. It is more bodies and more little souls to take care of, but it's still, like you said, it's still our job. It is not their fault that we are angry, tired, overstimulated. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
And also, I think we can kind of get into if you do lash out, if you do
that's what I was about to say.
We're on the same. Yes. If you do lash out, and if you do, just lose it, which you're human, okay, whatever.
Everyone does.
It can happen. The way you react afterwards is what's gonna change your relationship with your kid.
Yeah, it's the taking accountability. And I wanted to add that too, because like I know when I talk about parenting, I ruffle a lot of people's feathers, because maybe I don't put down what I want you to pick up. Like sometimes I word things differently. But one thing I do want to say, it's like there's people that actively know like this isn't right, and you're still doing it. Like you're still maybe hitting them or like yelling at them without getting down to their level and being like, hey, I need you to do this and this and this. So if you do lash out, if you lose your patience, if you scream, everybody does. Like everybody has gone through that. And what actually matters is you realizing that and being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I screamed at you.
Yeah.
I
think an apology can go a long way.
Exactly.
And I guess since we're going to get into childhood traumas, here I am. I have such a hard time. One of my biggest flaws and downfalls, I guess, is that I don't know how, like, I have such a hard time apologizing, and I have such a hard time admitting when I'm wrong, because I was never apologized to. Like, if my parents lashed out at me or something, they never like, quote unquote, fixed it afterwards, or like, you just kind of brush over it. And so because of that, I never learned to be able to apologize, and it's so hard for me. And it's not out of like, I think I'm better than you. No, it's out of like embarrassment and like guilt that I it's really hard for me to apologize and admit that I'm wrong, even though, like, I know it's so silly, like, just admit it's not about being wrong. It's the feeling that I get when I have to admit, dang, like, you fucked up, you have to say sorry. So I try not to fuck up because I don't like to say sorry, but it's because of that, because I was never apologized to. I was never taught how to apologize.
And how to take accountability.
Accountability. That's hard. That's really hard. And I feel like I've kind of changed this a lot, because I hate this about myself, that I used to be so like make excuses all the time. And I hate that. And I hate that quality about somebody else when I see it. And then I'm like, I'm that way too. You're a whore. Full of excuses. You are so full of excuses. And so sometimes I catch myself, like, I know I used to be like, I can't do it because of this and that. I'm like, girl, take accountability. Like, no, you didn't do it. Okay, move on. What are you going to do to make it better?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that losing your patience and your cool and yelling and screaming isn't bad. I think that how you react afterwards is bad.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a trickle effect. Look at me.
If you take accountability for your actions and you go and tell your child, like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, I didn't mean to yell at you, I was just a little overstimulated, that is beautiful.
That goes
and
a long
I
way.
will always praise the people that do that, because growing up in a Hispanic household, obviously ain't nobody going and being like, hey, you slammed the door, I know, like, I made you really sad, I'm so sorry. It's always like, no, pues déjala, así es, déjala, que se enoje, que se encabrone, whatever. And I could never do that. Like, the moment I make Franco feel bad, or he's like, Mama, ¿estás enojada conmigo? I'll be like, no, amor, ¿por qué? Or like, I will literally sit, and we actually did this last night, because he had a really hard day yesterday. Oh. And I sat down and I was like, amor, ¿qué te pasa? ¿Qué piensas? Explícame cómo te sientes. And he started sobbing, and he was like, es que me siento, like, he was oh my God, telling me, because it was my sister's birthday. Yeah. So all the attention was on my sister. What does my sister want to do? What does she want to eat? What kind of cake does she want? All of that. And we weren't like giving him one-on-one attention. And he told me, he's like, es que estoy triste porque me sentí muy nervioso porque era el cumpleaños de Jimena. And I was like, ¿y por qué te sentiste nervioso? He's like, porque nomás hicimos lo que ella quería, no hicimos lo que yo quería, which he wanted to go to the park, and he, you know, like, his daily routine. And I was like, amor, lo siento mucho, pero tú sabes que para tu cumpleaños hacemos lo que tú quieres. And literally sitting there explaining to him over and over why we did the things we did, and then saying, lo siento por hacerte sentir así, you know? Mm-hmm. And for me, I was like, oh my God, this is so healing, because my biggest goal in life is to raise emotionally aware, intelligent, available adults. And adults that will always apologize for making someone feel bad, you know? Yeah. So yeah, that was a proud mom moment yesterday.
That's amazing.
And this is what I always say, like, I could have easily been like, pues era el cumpleaños de tu tía y ya, you know? But I took the time to sit down and hear him cry, and then let him calm down, and then explain to him why. And then he woke up this morning and we had a perfect day, you know? But I feel like if I hadn't, it would have just kept his nervous system in overdrive and been like, well, my mom didn't even ask if I was okay. Like, she didn't ask why I was crying. She didn't ask why I was being bad, or why I was having a hard day, you know? Yeah. And I think that's how a lot of us want to sleep usually, is like, my mom didn't even ask what happened at school today, because she's so overstimulated with the house, with working, with my other siblings. And that's so sad.
It is to think about. I was going to say that because I've seen this a lot, where like, clearly a child is in distress. Like, a kid never purposely is trying to ruin your day, your life, or anything. If they are crying uncontrollably, if they are acting out, like, out of the norm, it's for a reason. And so sometimes I think as Hispanics, we have a really hard time, like you said, getting on their level and asking what's wrong. Instead of trying to fix it, I think we tend to just tell them, you fix it. Like, for example, like, you have to go, vete a tu cuarto y sales cuando te sientas mejor, o vete a tu cuarto y no sales hasta que te calmes or whatever. But it's like they don't know how to calm down. We have to teach them to calm down.
Exactly.
Or even asking why. I think one day, like, you're not going to be there to talk him through it, but he's going to have the tools because you already did talk him through it.
That's like my biggest thing, because growing up, obviously, like, my dad would lose his cool. He wasn't emotionally available. He would anger issues, whatever. But for me, it's like me sitting him down and being like, ¿por qué estás actuando así? ¿Por qué estás llorando? ¿Qué tienes? ¿Por qué estás enojado? For me, like, I think about in his future marriage, if he ever wants to get married, is if he yells at his spouse, he's going to be like, wait, why did you yell at her? Oh, because you were feeling overstimulated. Oh, because you had a bad day at work. Hey, honey, I'm so sorry for yelling at you earlier. I just really had a really hard day at work and we haven't talked about it. And I just want you to know that it wasn't your fault. It was mine. It was me bringing work home. You know, like, that's literally what I want my children to be like. And I want Belen to not marry someone that isn't emotionally available, because she'll be like, wait, well, my parents were always emotionally available, you know?
Yeah.
It's just
it goes both ways, because you're teaching Franco as a boy to be a good spouse, but on the other hand, como dices, Belen's only gonna know how to be treated because she's like, I was never treated like this. Why am I not?
Exactly.
Like, why am I gonna tolerate this?
Exactly.
And I think that's beautiful.
I think that's beautiful. So yeah, I think that a lot of people growing up they've had misconceptions of our childhood. And I think for me, one of them is like people thinking that I grew up in a safe space, kind of. And I do, like, I was talking to my therapist about this. Guys, I am so pro therapy right now. Like, my therapist is my girl. I literally get ready for the day. I'm like, I'm going to go cheese me out with my bestie, and she's going to bring the tissues out and she's going to teach me how to breathe. But like, talking to her has truly healed me, because not only do I know that she doesn't know anybody I'm talking to, and she's giving me like perspective of like not biased and being like, you know, but she also is a Hispanic woman who's married to a Mexican man who had to go to therapy as well. Now I'm airing my
You're like, is this her email? You said this is her email, this is her social, like, and you can find her here.
And if y'all want to book with her, well, you can't, because she's mine.
You're like, here's the link to book with her.
Literally. Pero ¿qué? Ya se me olvidó lo que decir.
About going to therapy.
Yes. So I like to pat myself on the back, and this is the one thing about me that I'm very confident in, is that I'm a very emotionally aware person, and I am a very understanding person, empathetic. Like, genuinely, I see the best in people, and until something bad happens between me and someone, I'm like, oh fuck, like, you were right, that was crazy. But I truly will meet you and think you're the best person I know until you give me a reason not to, you know? And I literally am a la, like, life is so beautiful. Like, I'm the glass is half full. I'm a, ¿cómo se dice? Optimist?
Yes.
I'm always looking at the positives. And my therapist was like, well, although that is beautiful and we do not want to change that about you, that's also a trauma response. Oh. I'm like, oh, damn it.
No,
but she
pour
said,
me up.
It's a good one though. So when I talk, like, I don't want you guys to think I'm talking out of my ass, genuinely, because one, like, I grew up with a very patient mom. Like, my mom is so patient. I would say she was more on the gentle parent side, but y'all, my mom screamed at me, smacked me, pinched me when I was bad. Like, one time she slapped me, the only one time, and I deserved it.
Wait, this is crazy, because I've always wanted to ask you this. Like, I only hear, obviously you only speak positively about your mom, and I always wanted to ask you, like, did you get hit, girl? Or did you get yelled at?
Yeah, my mom used to, like, she would spank me, but like not bad.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like, hija tu madre, ven para darte con el cinto. No. It was like, she was like, pinching you, Lisa, or like, she would pinch me. I feel like pinching more. Like, if we're out and about, she would like pinch me, like, or something.
Ooh, a pinch for me is worse than a spank. Yeah. I'll pinch you back.
You're like, I will fight back. But she was very grosera. Like, pinche Yulisa.
Really?
Yeah, hija de tu madre. Like, she is not grosera anymore at all.
I've never heard your mom cuss like that.
Pinche cabrona. Yeah.
Margarita.
She was a trip growing up. She was very gentle in her like what would I say? Like, she was very patient, but she was very like blah, blah, blah. And I think that's why she didn't smack me or like hit me or abuse me. But she would always be like, pinche cabrona. Hija de tu madre.
No way.
Yeah.
This is information. This is new.
Wait, this is the beans are spilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very grosera.
Okay.
So I knew, like, I was terrified of my mom because I was like, as soon as she calls me cabrona, it's over. But yeah, so that's how she grew up. Like, my mom was very, so I feel like she gave me a really good example of a mom. And I also told my therapist, I was like, my mom is an amazing wife. Like, she cooked, cleaned, washed the clothes, packed lunch, did this, did that, like, another club. And I told my therapist, I was like, I vowed that I would never pack lunch. I would never cook for a man. I would never be a perfect wife, because fuck that. Like, my therapist was like, yeah, that's trauma response. Like, that's you choosing to close yourself off in that way. Not because your husband is bad, but because of the way that you grew up and like seeing your mom like break her back for your dad and him not being deserving of it.
Yeah.
So I don't cook that often, but I do clean and I do wash his clothes, you know, whatever. I'm a little soft in that area. But yeah, like that was a trauma response. And that was another thing that my therapist told me, like, you are joyful and you are optimist and you're this happy person because that's all you knew how to be when you were younger. Because you, like, it was like nobody's coming to save you. Like, you have to save yourself, kind of. And that was like, I think that's something that you kind of are born with, maybe, because I know that there's a lot of people that had a terrible childhood and they were depressed and had, you know, suicidal thoughts, which I had friends that went through that and it was so devastating. And then there's people, like, other people that just choose to be la la landers and they're just like, la la la, like, I'm just a happy person. I don't care if you did this, I don't care if you did that. And I was like, wait, that's so true, because I would have a shitty day at home and then the next day I'd be like the happiest person with my best friends and nobody fucking knew what I was going through, you know? Like, people would be like, why do you have to walk home? And I'm like, oh, just I like to walk home. And then it's like, well, because my dad won't pick me up, you know? But I was never the type of person to be like, yeah, like, my dad won't pick me up. Like, I had to figure it out for myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's why I'm very passionate about the way that I am as a mom, because I know that it's a lot of fucking work, but I'm willing to put it in. And there's a lot of people that don't necessarily take that route. And I think that we see that a lot with Hispanic parents, you know, and our parents. I feel like our generation is doing the damn thing, putting in the work.
We're trying. And by no means are we saying, oh, do this because, like, look at us, we're doing this, this and that. We're just giving you examples of how hard we're trying. We are just telling you that if you want to, you can put in the work. No matter what your background is, no matter what traumas you have, you can do it.
And it is fucking hard.
It is hard.
It is so hard. Like, I did open up a little bit about me, like, going through some shit in my life right now. And a lot of people are like, girl, it's your birth control. Like, I felt like that. And I'm like, I wish it was my birth control, baby. I would get off that shit right now. But it's not. And I was like, you know, everything that's going on in my life. And I was telling Noemi and my therapist and whoever I talk to, which is Noemi, my therapist, or my mom, I'm like, you just, like, it is so hard to be so sad and to still show up as a happy mom to your kids. I know, because I'm going through it. Like, I will have my day back to back, like, we're going here and here and here and we're doing this and this and this for the kids, and inside I'm dying. Like, I'm dead. I'm not, like, my cup isn't full, but I know that I'm filling my kids' cup. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I genuinely understand that it's hard, and I'm not talking out of my ass, and I'm not judging you either, because it's fucking hard. And I know that there's times where I wish I didn't choose to show up. I wish I could just rot in bed and cry, but it's like, that's
not an option
for me, because I don't want my kids to feel what I feel, you know?
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, even Jonathan and I were talking about this, like, everything that we go through as a marriage or in our family, like our private family issues, not once have we been like, well, it's because of the kids. So because it's not because of the kids, it's not their fault, show up for them.
Yeah. It's, again, I think if you have a hard time, like, not letting it out on your kids, you just have to keep telling yourself it's not their fault. It's not their fault. Like, you brought them into this world. You chose to have them, and we have to, it is our responsibility to do our best, to give them the best, to be the best, so that they can be the best.
I think we don't realize the responsibility that we have, because we're literally letting these kids out into the world.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that crazy?
That's so scary.
That they're going to be adults one day.
That's so crazy and scary.
I think that's why I show up for them too, because I'm like, I don't want them to be terrible adults when they grow up, you know?
That, and I think everything we do now is to prepare our relationship and to prepare them for when they're older. We want them to come back to us. We want them to voluntarily come back and hang out with us. We don't want to have to beg them, please come have breakfast, dinner, please come have this. And in my head, it starts when they're young. In my head, it starts now.
Exactly. I think that also a lot of us parents think like, no se van a acordar. They're not going to remember. They're not going to remember when I did this, when I did that, but their subconscious remembers.
And it's the connection you're building.
Exactly.
It's not, you don't do everything to be praised. You do it because, yes, the connection, and you do it because you want to have a good relationship with them. And you know what, as a parent, you have to expect nothing from it.
Thank you.
We don't get to sit here and be like, I did this. We don't get to throw it in their faces and be like, I did this for you, and I did this for you, and I did this for you. Okay, you did that because you're their parent and that's your job. You do it out of love. You do it out of everything you have in you to love your kids. And you don't sit there and when they're adults or when they're teenagers, well, you don't call me this and that and that and that.
Why?
And that. Exactly.
And a lot of people don't understand that their life from 1-year-old to 7 years old is the most important. Like, I think that there's a lot of people that think like, well, I have to be this really good parent and show up for them a lot while they're teenagers, because then they're not going to call me, they're not going to text me, they're not going to tell me what's going on. No, I promise you that when they're teenagers, ya se pasó el tiempo. Like, they already have built the connection. They already know what type of parent you are. They already know what to expect when it comes to how you're going to react with something bad, if they did something bad, if they did something good. They already know you. Like, your kids by teenage years have you figured out. So you have to put in the work literally from age 1, or from the time that they come out of your wherever.
Because mine did not come out of my vagina.
By the time they come out of your body, from the time they come out of your body to the time that they're 7, those are the most important years of your life. And I promise you.
And we're not talking out of our ass. This is research done.
Yeah, exactly.
This is science.
This is facts backed by science.
Uh-huh.
You have to put in the work, and I promise you it's going to be so worth it. I don't think that there is anything more rich in life than to have a good relationship with your children.
Yeah.
Because one day you're going to be old as fuck and lonely as fuck if you were a terrible parent growing up.
Yeah. And I think it's easy for people who have teenagers to sit here and say, it's all going to change when you have teenagers. Yes, we don't have teenagers. We don't know. And yeah, they are probably going to change. Yeah, but we were teenagers. And that's why I'm saying the core relationship, the core connection you have with your kids isn't going to change. Yes, sorry, I got a little distracted because I can hear the children upstairs.
Speaking of our children.
Yeah, I know it changes when everybody's brain rewires when they become teenagers. But it's all about like your connection with them and how you love them, how they trust you, how much they trust you.
Yeah, because growing up, like my mom, as I said, my mom built a very strong connection with both my brother and I when we were young. And when I was a teenager, obviously, I stepped away from my mom. Jonathan was my entire world. My friends were my entire world. That they were my priority. I didn't care if I was having like problems with my mom. Like, I was outside with my friends and Jonathan, and I was sneaking around and doing all the things. As soon as I turned like 18, 19, and I was graduated, I had my own job, and you guys literally have proof in my old vlogs. My mom and I, besties. Mm-hmm. Vamos acá, vamos a comer, vamos a tomarnos un café, vamos a hacer eso, vamos a de compras, whatever. And it's genuinely because of the relationship we made and, ¿cómo se dice? Nourished while I was young. Mm-hmm. Because we're bound to lose our teenagers because they don't give a fuck about us, girl. Yeah. They only care about their social life, but they always come back, and I want to be the parent they come back to. Yep. I don't want them to like become teenagers and be like, oh wow, like you guys are way better than my parents. Fuck my parents, you know. I want them to be like, no, my parents are amazing too, you know.
You know what's crazy? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when I was like in middle school and a little bit in high school, growing up, I was like, oh my God, my parents are so strict, this and that, and my parents this and that. They're so like, uptight, no sé qué. And now that I'm older, I'm like, thank God. Because now, like, it's so crazy, but I'm like, my parents are cool parents. Like, now I see them and I'm like, people that I hang out with want to hang out with my parents.
Exactly.
I want to hang out with my parents. My husband likes my parents. He wants to hang out with them.
Exactly.
And I'm like, yeah, like, I want to be like that. Like, yes, it was hard when we were younger. And I'm not saying they were perfect, because obviously I'm sitting here talking about childhood traumas.
Yeah.
But they clearly did something right, because I'm over there all the time.
They're over here all the time.
They're over here all the time. And I'm 27, my brother is 24, and my sister's 21. We all like to literally go out with them. Like, we'll go to the baile and we'll be like, parents, do you want to come with us to the baile vibes, you know?
Exactly.
Do you want to come have a marg with us? Like, clearly they did something right, you know?
Exactly. And it was the connection that they established when you were young. And I know that a lot of people also are always like, well, you're never alone with your kids. You're never, and blah, blah, blah. You pat yourself in the back when you have time with your kids. Genuinely, like, you guys can see, before I even had kids, I was always with my parents anyway. Like, it was always my parents. It was always my sisters. It was always Jonathan and I going to Jonathan literally tells me, like, ¿qué van a hacer tus papás? Háblales. ¿Qué quieren almorzar? Like, every Sunday he'll be like, call your parents. I'm going to go get carnitas. Like, we're going to have breakfast here. And that's crazy. Like, Jonathan loves my family so much, because one thing my mom has done right her whole life is unconditional love. I'm not saying that it has always been the best, right? Like, sometimes you gotta put some conditions in there. Not conditions, but like maybe more boundaries, you know?
A little tough love.
A little bit of boundaries, a little bit of fucking shake someone up and hit them or something, you know? Not talking about any of my siblings specifically. If you know, you know. But I'm just saying, like, my mom has always loved each one of us unconditionally. One of us being Jonathan, because my mom literally adopted Jonathan when she met him. She was like, okay, you're my son now. And she loves him unconditionally too. Like, my mom accepts Jonathan exactly as he is and exactly as he comes, and he feels so safe with her, you know?
Wait, isn't that crazy?
Isn't that so? Because that's exactly the relationship Luis has with your parents too.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, my entire family, they do not treat Luis any please pour us
girl,
up.
Spill the beans and I'll pour the cups.
Spill the tea, but don't spill the wine.
For real.
Same. Ever since Luis obviously came into our lives when he was 18, and there's so much that he learned and unlearned. And also, my parents and my entire family have always treated him the same way that we're all treated. Every time, like, we meet new people or whatever, and my parents are always like, estos son mis hijos. My mom never says mis hijos y este es el novio or el esposo or whatever. They say estos son mis hijos, and then she'll go on and say, like, when she introduces us, she'll be like el esposo de mi hija. But she's always said estos son mis hijos. And same with my dad, estos son mis hijos. And my aunts, my tias, they call him my nephew. They call him the favorite nephew sometimes. And my cousins are like, this is my cousin. Like, we've always treated him the same. And así como somos, like, ¿cómo se dice? Like, buscarruidos, todos, with him too. He gets no, like, it's not like, oh, like, don't talk to Luis like that because he's not family. No, Luis, you're gonna get your ass beat too. Like, we all, you know, I think it's that unconditional love, and just making someone feel like part of the family, making someone feel like you belong.
Exactly. Because
I know there's been experiences where I haven't always been treated like that, and
same.
It's disgusting. That's a disgusting feeling
terrible.
To, like, yeah, to be pushed aside. Like,
yeah,
it's not a good feeling. And so I'm so glad that I noticed that my family and your family, I've noticed with your mom and your sisters too. Obviously, like, your sisters post about Jonathan as one of their siblings.
Exactly.
You know?
They literally see him as their older brother, and that's beautiful.
And cheers to that.
And cheers to that, baby. But also, Noemi and I didn't grow up rich by any means.
No.
Yeah. I feel like my mom, okay, one thing my mom taught me though is how to save money. My mom, this lady, siempre tiene dinero. There was never a time I'd be like, no tengo. Or sometimes, like, I would need something crazy, like things for a project, right? And that's like a lot of money to just go and spend, like, on poster boards and glue and whatever. And not once was she like, es que no tengo hija, es que no sé cómo la voy a hacer, es que, like, she never told me that, because she always had money. Mind you, she never had, like, a good job. Like, it wasn't a good paying job. but she always had money. She always saved. She was very, I don't know, because like my mom wasn't, I wouldn't say she was like a cheapskate, but she also wasn't like an extravagant spender.
Mm-hmm.
And she always had money. So I think that she literally created me. And
by scratch.
She built me by scratch in her body. But I think that's so crazy because genuinely, like, I'm just gonna say this because we get this asked a lot, but did growing up with nothing make us shopaholics?
Yes.
Next question. Just kidding. 1,000%.
No, we can get into that because
it truly did make me a shopaholic. But my mom was also a shopaholic. My mom was always window shopping. Like, we would go to Dillard's, and this is why I fucking hate Dillard's now. I'm like warming up to it a little bit, you know? But my mom would spend hours and hours and hours looking at Dillard's shoes, clothes, accessories, whatever.
And not get anything.
Wouldn't come out with a single thing. It was just her pastime, like her fun time.
Talk about my biggest trauma.
Dude, literally.
Why? Yes, same. Okay, with my parents, it's a little bit different. Okay, so my parents, they, gracias a Dios, they are very smart with their money. Same with saving. They're very good at saving because we grew up in a tiny little house, but they purchased that house when I was born, when my brother was born, actually. So they've always tried really hard to be financially literate, and they purchased the house, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, good for them, because like I'm thinking about like 20-year-olds who didn't really speak Spanish. I mean, didn't really speak English, didn't know much about like a lot about finances, and I'm like, and they were able to buy a house. Like, I think about that now, and I'm like, you go, queens.
Exactly.
Because that's crazy. But anyway, I lived in a really, really small house, three bedrooms. So my sister and I shared a bedroom for most of our life. And these bedrooms are tiny. I'm telling you, like, small little bedrooms. And I know growing up for a lot of Hispanics, it's very common to share a lot of rooms. There was one point in life where I remember, like I said, my dad, we would always leave the house, and nosotros somos mucho de que vamos por una hamburguesa. Always. My dad loves to go get Wendy's, bro. He loves Wendy's. Carl's Jr., que no se diga. So what we would do, since there was 5 of us, we would go out, and then my mom and my dad would be like, "Pueden agarrar una hamburguesa or chicken nuggets o algo del $1." So we each would get an item from the $1 menu, and then we would all get 1 large soda to share. I'm like, oh, why did that make me so emotional?
I'm like, not literally.
Dude, I'm literally tearing up. Oh my God.
Us sharing $1 menu items.
Oh my God, I'm literally crying. But like, it's so beautiful because they're like, okay, we're broke, but we still want these memories for my kids, and they still made it happen. Like, it's not about how much you're like, it's not monetary. It's not about what you're giving them monetarily. It's about the experience. Like, because I always remember, like, we would go out in una hamburguesa, and we would have the time of our life just sitting there eating our little $1 menu hamburger. Jesus Christ, I'm sobbing.
Let it out, baby.
I know. But I'm like, that is so beautiful that my parents did that. What was the question?
It was the shopaholic.
Oh, so anyway.
You're like, and this is why I'm a shopaholic.
This is why I'm a shopaholic, because I had to get stuff from the $1 menu.
And we still do. We'll go buy a $30 shirt and $1 menu items.
No, what I was going to is that since we always were like they were very smart with money, even when they didn't have money, they like made it happen, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, my mom and my dad are still this way, even if they are doing good in the bank or not doing good in the bank. They go to the clearance section. Every time my mom will not get a shirt over like $10. If it's $10, she's like, "Esta está cara."
Literally.
Like, we'll literally shop at like TJ Maxx and Ross, and she'll be like, "This shirt is so beautiful. I love it with my whole heart, and it's $20, so I can't get it." Madre de mi alma, por favor.
Like, if you don't get that shirt right
my
now.
Dad is infamous for doing this. We'll go shopping, or we'll go wherever, and he'll see something. It is his size, his shape, his color, his everything. He wants it so bad, and he doesn't get it. I'm like, why do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my trauma comes in.
Like, and that's why I get what I want.
No, and growing up, we got shoes from Payless. Like my parents were the type, like I never, and I still do this. I don't know if you've noticed this. It's very, especially for clothes, it's very hard for me to get name brand anything. I still get I always still get the dupes. And it's because of that, because I grew up and I was always shopping at Payless, or we would go like back to school shopping or whatever. And I was not allowed, but obviously they only had like, it was kind of like, they never told me you can only get this, this, and this. I always just kind of knew like you can only get this. So I would get like 2 shirts, and that would be my shirts for like my going out shirts for like 4, 5, 6 months until we went to Ross again or whatever.
Exactly.
And yes, that is why, because I'm like, if I'm able to get it now, I'm gonna get it. And I know that's a horrible mentality. Maybe that's not the healthiest, but it is, I guess, a trauma response. Like my mom and my dad, and even I do this. You are famous for doing this. You don't only do this for yourself. You do this for everyone in your family. Like if we go out, Blanca's buying her mom, her sisters, her everybody in her life. Even like whenever you go out without us, you get Penny something, you know, like you think about us all the time.
Like, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So anyway, yes, it is a trauma response, how much we shop and how much we consume. It is not healthy, but
it's healing.
Yeah, but it's so surface level healing.
I know, literally. It is scratching the surface. It scratches an itch that we had growing up. And that's exactly how it was too. Like growing up, we had nothing, but we never had, no.
We never had anything.
Growing up, we didn't have everything, but we never had just nothing, you know? And my mom, like the same, would go to Children's Place, get 5 leggings for $10, you know, like get it, the deals. And yeah, I mean, my mom was a window shopper. She would shop all around the store, but it wouldn't really get anything ever for herself. And that is why I am the way I am now. Like, I don't let my mom touch her wallet when she's with me, because I just like, I'm like, Mom, like you deserve this, being such an amazing mom, grandma, sister, and everything. My mom is such a good person. She shows up for people so like selflessly, which is insane. Like sometimes I wish it was a little bit more selfish, not gonna lie. But a mí no me duele el codo. Like that's one thing about you and me, is que no somos codas. Like we will go out to eat, we'll buy whatever we want, like, and still be a little bit smart with our money, because I was like, we still have to save some of it or whatever. But that is one thing my mom taught me through and through, is that I have like, nunca se me ha cerrado el mundo con dinero, ever. I've always been a really, really good spender, where I don't, like, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, but I'm also like getting anything I want, and then still have like a little bit to go towards savings and a good savings account. Exactly. But yeah, all of that to say that we are shopaholics by heart.
And you know what? That's something that I'm not willing to heal yet. Yeah. That's something that I'm not willing to have taken away from me. I think my husband would say different. I think he's ready for me to heal that. But
like one day.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? When Luis and I met, it was actually the opposite. I was the one that was always saving. I never would buy anything. And actually my husband turned me into what I am today, into the beast I am today. Exactly. Because I was always, like I'm telling you, my parents have always like kind of taught me like to save. And I've always had a good savings. Even if I'm not making anything, I always have a little something, you know?
Exactly.
And Luis was always the one that like, he didn't really know how to save, and he accidentally touched your toe. He was always the one that was spending, and we kind of like switched the roles reversed, I guess, because now he's like, babe, like slow it down a little bit. And I'm like, no,
never that.
No,
especially as moms.
Yeah,
I think that we always got to feel a little something.
One thing about Luis, he's never gonna tell me no.
Exactly.
And he's gonna make it happen for me and him
should.
And Penny.
Like, and our whole family.
And my mom and my dad and my sister and my brother.
But anyways, going a little bit back into our topic, I think that as adults, we've really, really had to digest that. And I wouldn't say it has been easy. Like, it's really hard to learn all the trauma you've been through, and then on top of that be like, oh shit, like I gotta heal by myself, because sometimes you feel like, wait, shouldn't this be healed for me? Like, I'm not the one at fault. But it's like, como dice el dicho, I think you have it right.
Healing is realizing it wasn't your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Exactly. Como dice ese dicho.
Clip that.
Tattoo it on your butt. that is not beautiful. That is actually terrible, because it isn't your fault, so you don't want to do the work to heal it, but it is your responsibility as an adult. I've always said this, like, ya estamos hechos y derechos. If we are over here making decisions to buy the newest car, to have SEX, to bring children into the world, then we have the balls. We should have the balls to look at our trauma and be like, okay, I have to heal, because it's my responsibility to not dump this on my children.
Yeah. And to be, even if you're not a parent, to be a good adult.
Exactly.
Like, Jesus Christ, the amount of people that have a victim mentality.
Ooh, that is my biggest pet peeve, is a victim mentality.
Yeah.
Because trust me, like, you can dump your trauma on me. Please, like, I will hold you and cry with you. But the moment you're like, and that's why I'm a piece of shit, then I'll be like, oh no, baby. No. That does not fly here.
No.
Call out your shit. Don't let someone call it out for you. Call out your own shit and put the work in. Because life isn't good. Like, trust me, like, I know that there's anxiety, depression, and all of that. We're not talking about that, because we obviously don't deal with that to a certain extent. And we will never talk about something that as, like, difficult as that, because those are, like, different things that you grow up with that not everybody experiences, right? Everyone's upbringing is so different. So we're not saying, like, if you truly are depressed, if you're anxious, like, we're not talking to you about it, because mental health is so real. All the mental health problems are so real, and we will never fucking talk about that, because heck no,
that's not our place. No,
absolutely
to give advice on
we are
that.
not professionals, doctors, whatever. No. So please, like, take what we say with a grain of salt, because we also don't want to feel like, oh, you guys are judging me. Fuck no, we would never do that. But we are saying, like, yeah, si eres un adulto hecho y derecho, like, truly look into yourself and be like, wait, maybe I shouldn't lash out on the people I love, because this is something that they haven't done to me. And I think that this always goes to your spouse. Like, the way that your parents raised you sometimes dump that on your spouse and the person that you love the most, the person that should be the most important thing. And you dump it on them because you don't know where else to dump it. Mm-hmm. And that's, like, the first thing that I always say is your partner should be the best version of yourself. So work on it. And it's really hard. Like, trust me, I know therapy is hard. I know anything to do with like self-healing. Yeah. Letting your emotions out.
Yes.
It is so hard. And we don't want to do it. And that's where we have to put in the work, you know?
Yeah. What would you say is something you are doing differently than your parents?
I would say,
besides clearly, like, something that's not so obvious to us, like, obviously we see that you're a great gentle parent, like, I hate saying that, but you know, like, you're very patient, you're very
I would say that something I'm doing differently than my parents is not letting my marriage issues, my family issues, or my issues affect my kids. Because I think growing up, a lot of us heard, like, oh, I'm fighting with your dad, or, oh, your dad is this, your dad is so this. It's good. Do you see how he treats me? Do you see how this? We're like, that is one thing that the kids will never know, is our financial issues and our marriage issues ever. And it's really fucking hard. Yeah. Like I said, to show up for your kids when you're devastated. But that's the one thing I'm doing. Like, maybe it's probably not the healthiest thing. I'm kind of talking about it in therapy to see what the best way to go about it is, but it's truly not letting any of my personal issues affect my parenting.
Yeah.
What about you?
Thankfully, my parents were always kind of very aware. I feel like in a lot of ways my parents are very healthy in that way, because thankfully they never really fought in front of us. Mm-hmm. We never knew if si teníamos o no teníamos. So I'm grateful for that. But on the other hand, I have, like, me and my entire family have anger issues, and I think it's so bad. Like, no, my parents would never, like, fight per se in front of each other, but they would kind of get, like, passive aggressive, like, like, make little comments, you know, here and there. And I'm like, that's not okay either. Like, I'm really working on, I guess, marriage wise. And with my husband, ni se diga, like, we just both have this, we're both trying to actively not be, like, passive aggressive with each other, if we're angry at each other or something like that, or like saying anything in front of people, you know, just trying to be cordial. Parent wise, there's so much I'm doing different, I would say. But like I said, I only have one daughter, so it's very, very easy for me to be like, oh, I'm so chill with her and this and that, you know. And my mom had a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a newborn at one point.
Shiz. So
I can totally understand where she would get overstimulated. But I really, really have channeled my anger issues, and I have really, really, really just tried to control myself. And I'm really, one thing that I'm proud of myself is doing that, because I used to be like, everybody used to know that I was just like always angry. Like, I feel like that's kind of why I don't remember a lot of like my childhood or like teenage years or whatever, because I was just always angry and I was always mad. And now I'm like, I'm so like happy. Like I'm genuinely happy. I'm genuinely thankful. Not that I wasn't thankful before, but I'm just so happy to be living, as where before I'm like, maybe I was a little depressed. And now that I'm like saying it, I'm like, maybe I should have been in therapy for sure. But I was just always angry. And now I'm like, why? Like, chill out. Like, I feel like I'm so chill now, as to where before I was just always so on edge and angry, and everything would make me upset. And I'm not saying I'm totally healed, because of course there's things that trigger me. Like, I hate to admit this, but the week before my period, I can be that way. And I hate that, because it's like something inside me that I can't control. But aside from that, like if I know I'm like, something's going to trigger me, I just really try to, before it triggers me, I try to relax. I try to just be chill. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's something I definitely am doing differently, just not lashing out.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And
I think
working on patience. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah.
And also I think that another thing is working on never making my children feel like a burden.
Yeah. Clock it.
Because
Preach,
I think
baby.
that our parents used to kind of make us feel like that. I would say more my dad for sure.
Yeah.
But I have severe daddy issues. But it's that, like, never making the, it's because you stress me out, it's because you're this, it's because you're that. Never. Like, I will never tell Franco that. I will never tell Belen that. Yep. And that's like one thing I will die on a hill for. It's like never making them feel like a burden, or being like, or también como dices tú, echándoles like, well, I did this for you growing up and I took you here. Like, never. Yeah.
Which I'm not saying, my parents, gracias a Dios, they never did that. They've never been like, well, I did this exactly. For you. But I have seen how it affects people when that happens. And it's like, they still, even as adults, like they still feel that guilt and that burden of like, dang, my parents are POSs, and I still feel like crap, because I'm like, let me try to keep us monetized, because I'm saying a lot of bad words, but I'm turning into Margarita. Oh,
Margarita before the grandkids.
That's crazy, huh? That's a whole nother episode on its own.
No, guys, and honestly, like, truly, for Mother's Day, Noemi and I will bring our moms, and we will talk to them and make them spill the beans, because I know you guys really want that. So that is for sure going to be in the works for us.
That's going to be such a good one.
It'll be an amazing episode, and I know you guys want it so bad. So we will absolutely bring Doña Gaby y Doña Margarita. Van a estar aquí para decir todas estas cosas que callan las mujeres.
Casos de la vida real.
Casos de spill the beans. But yeah, this is what getting naked is to us. I know that we talked a lot about a lot of ¿cómo se dice? Triggering things.
Yeah, and heavy.
And I just want to end this with, like, please don't ever think that we think we're better than anybody, because one thing Noemi and I know for a fact is that everyone's trying their best, and we really ain't shit, and
we're just telling you our experiences and like how we go about it.
Genuinely talking to you guys, like, if you guys are our besties, we never want you to think like we're talking to you like, well, I'm better than you, and I know that you're out here like getting impatient. No, like, we're talking to you like we talk to each other, because I'll be like, dude, guess what fucking happened this week? Like, you know, and we never want you to feel like, oh, spill the beans is only for the girls that are like perfect parents and patient and healed and go to therapy. Hell no, girl. We're literally, truly just girls that are here to vent, to tell you our life experience, and to make you feel safe.
Yep. And maybe to inspire you to work on yourself, like,
yeah,
because you are important. Like, you know, I think a lot of the things that we're talking about, it's not out of fault of like I know, like, for example, I know my mom wasn't doing it on purpose. I think it was just lack of support and lack of her, like, putting herself first.
Exactly.
Because when you put yourself first, there it is.
Drop the fucking mic right now.
Yeah, there it is. Like, it's not like I'm sitting here saying like, oh, you this and that. No, it's because I know it's because of lack of resources, lack of everything,
lack of everything. Because in this economy, girl, the economy is shit. There's people with mental health problems, and then everything is fucking expensive, and then you're fighting with your husband, and then your kids are overstimulating you, and then you don't have time to go get your hair done, and you want to go and get a sweet treat. Like, all of that fucking piles up, and you're gonna crash the fuck out. Like, please, and everybody should crash the fuck out once in a while. But we're here to tell you, working on yourself is the most important thing, because happy wife, happy life, happy mom, happy kids. It's just like that. Like, genuinely, you listening to this right now, you are the most important person in this world, and you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your mental health, even if that means that you have to put in the work, because it is so hard. It's so hard to look at your trauma. It's so hard to heal from your trauma and to look for help.
Yeah. And it's so worth it to be happy. I'm telling you, because I was always so angry, and then I started just looking into, like, why am I always like this? Why am I like this? What is making me like this? And now I'm like, it doesn't matter why I'm like this. What are you going to do about it?
Exactly. Accept yourself as you are, and then work in the areas that you want to improve.
Yeah. If you don't like something about yourself, okay, change it. What are you going to do about it?
Put in the work, baby. You only live once. We have one life. No hay que, en la otra vida quiero. No. You have this one life. Work on it, baby. Be happy at the end of the day, wherever it is that you're at. Just make sure you're happy.
Yes, and love yourself. Please love yourself. It's so important.
It is so important. As a mom, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, if you love yourself, I promise you that is the most important thing you will do in this life.
Yep.
And with that,
I'm in.
With that, we do want to say, though, and we had to write this down so that we wouldn't forget, that we don't blame our parents for the way that they raised us.
Oh, no. But we do recognize that that's why we are the way we are.
Yep.
And we know that they also tried their best in what that was their best. You know?
And we also vow and refuse to repeat the same patterns.
Exactly. Wow. Hablaste bien bonito.
Wow. Y es que es el wine.
I know.
Liquid courage.
Did you finish it?
I think we should finish it.
Cheers.
Cheers to getting naked.
Clip that. No, Marlene. I hate joking with you.
I know, Marlene. Bring out the other bottle. DoorDash it. That is such a good wine, dude.
Yeah,
we
finished a whole bottle of wine. And that's why we're about to get naked.
And that's why we have a couple of nip slips in this episode. Just kidding.
Who said that?
But anyways, is there anything else you want to end it with?
Live, laugh, love.
And shop. Shopaholics.
Yeah, and we're never going to stop shopping, unfortunately.
Guys, it's like that TikTok is like, I'm going to shop. If you're having a garage sale, I'm shopping the garage sale, baby. If you are a small business, I'm shopping your small business. I don't care where, when, and where. Or what time.
Where, when, and what.
I will be there shopping.
With that being said.
But yeah, with that being said, maybe next episode we will be fully clothed.
Or maybe not. Maybe
we will be more naked.
Hopefully. I'm just kidding. I would not do that to you guys. I would not.
How do you guys see your like, curves, baby?
Unsubscribe.
Say I wouldn't do that for you guys for free. There we go. Anyways,
so if you're interested, please let us know.
Patreon ? A la tostada. Me estoy comiendo el micrófono. No, we really need to go.
I know. Ya estamos hablando puras babosadas.
Literally.
Okay.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.